Been a while since I've made a video. Been a lot to do. Wildflowers are really coming up. I mean, just everywhere. Some of the stuff I planted is coming up along with a lot of weeds as well. Knapweed that's just get out of control. But between the lupin and the vetch, I'm kind of liking that. We just had a rain last night, so I know I'll be probably picking more knapweed. There's also other interesting flowers, like that one. There's Bambi. Baby Bambi! Oh, I should have known. I'm always spooking him. It's okay. You can go back, pick your nap. Oh, there he is. I swear that thing's born on springs. Anyway. Every so often you'll see patches here in the wildflowers where he gets it all matted down. Anyway, so here's the cabin, and we're starting to get that all kind of grown over with vetch, which is the hope, by putting the mesh fencing up. My hope is everywhere I see the fencing that will eventually be covered with something that'll climb over the top of it. Ideally not knapweed. This area over here I started to rake out this last year, and it's starting to come up pretty good with flowers and whatnot. I've thrown wildflowers pretty much all over the place, so that's kind of working out. As we get up towards the front here, and we'll start to see more, get a little more dense. We've got 8-foot fence almost done here, but arthritis gave up. It's the hauling on the wire started to inflame my hands. So it'll probably be another week before I get back to that, but then I'll have this whole side will be 8 foot. I had a couple of whitetails bouncing off of it just last night. Yeah. These things are coming up all over the property as well. This is the first year I raked this out, and I hit this with some wildflower seeds, and it seems to be coming up pretty good. Same thing here. A lot of these occasionally too. Again, this is kind of neat, and I've got this other plant. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks kind of neat. Seeds. This is all these areas that are like this. You can see there. That's Bambi. Bambi has been sleeping there. Yeah, see right next to the wildflowers. I guess the spots hide the spotted deer better. I don't know, but he likes to sleep in the wildflowers. I get a lot of hummingbirds and butterflies and stuff too. Yeah, I can see here's the 8-foot fence. I'm hoping that some of it's already starting to get grown up. You can see there's the vetch going up the fence. I mean, I just strung this last week and it's already up in the... Stuff grows pretty quick. It's been a wet year. This is not normal. But I'm kind of glad for it because the vetch, if I'm not mistaken, is part of the pea family. So when you put it back into the soil as compost, it brings a lot of nitrogen. So anyway, vetch and lupin, a lot of that. Those little daisies popping up here and there. And there's a group of 2 mama. Yeah, you can kind of hear all the buzzing maybe, but there's a lot of bees. And there's a lot of butterflies. And hummingbirds. Lots of them. They all seem to like it here. I don't have any kind of bird feeders up, but they're just all here because I guess the plants are right. A lot of the stuff that I planted here has blown over into the neighbors and overgrown there. See, as I come around the corner, here's my fence. And this has all been seeded with wildflowers, but the ground's so horrible it's not coming up. But over there, you can see there's more of those yellow flowers, California daisies and stuff coming up on the other side of the fence. This was done by a pair of whitetails last night. I accidentally spooked them into a corner, so I'm going to go and string that a little tighter. So they bounce off it a little better. There's an open field to the other end, so they're able to run right out that way, but every so often they get dumb and they get cornered up here in the gate. You have to kind of chase them back down to the open end till they get this place completely surrounded, and then the deer will probably have to find somewhere else to graze. Anyway, the irrigation's doing pretty well. It got a rain last night. A lot of the mud and loose that I had up here flowed down into the mud pit and collected nicely. So that'll get sealed up soon. It was quite a soaker, but I had recently disturbed a lot of this earth, so it has to get sealed back up with clay so it's watertight again, and then it'll flow out to that black pipe and into the main more. We had a very long dry time. Anyway, you can see I'm all dug out here, ready to string the fence and get this side looking like the other side. I'm probably going to do some kind of planter between the rock wall and the fence on each side so that I have something that grows up the fence. You know, whatever. Vetch, morning glory hops, I don't know, something that's not too messy for cars. So this is getting grown over as well. These perimeter berms are still staying pretty moist. So, got my last pole here that I need to put in to replace this wood rotting thing, and then I can be ready to stretch this. There's a local residence. And the old fence post up there, there is one more family of birds that has yet to evacuate. I don't see the babies up there right yet, but one of them's bright blue, about the size of a small finch or something. Anyway, they're kind of cool looking. And there's a lot of these yellow and black butterflies. Yep. Yep, more of those yellow flowers. Some of them are knapweed that need to be pulled, but those are kind of cool looking. Those aren't. I don't know what I'll be doing after I shoot this video. I come along to this area, going back to a jogging trail, and you can see where I shoveled and where I stopped shoveling. But this is going to go up. I've got all my posts in. They're kind of neat. They're kind of like, I don't know, I think they're 1.25" rebar. The big thing on the top of them. When the ground's soft, I can get up there on a stepladder and pound them in like a giant nail with a sledgehammer. Anyway, these berms were put in just a year ago and they're already starting to overgrow. So I've got a good start on the berms between the perimeter and the fence jogging trail berms. And I'm just starting the ones down there. I'm beginning to get all the limbs and all that and pine needles before I go and dig that out, which has been rototilled, and put it on that. In here, I just raked out and seeded this year. I'm getting some weird stuff along with knapweed. But that's what happens out here. Like there's one flower, and I don't see it anywhere else on the property, just this one right here. I don't know what it is or where it came from. But it's kind of cool looking. Anyway, kind of neat looking. I'm going to get a lot of those here. This has all been seeded with various wildflower seeds, and after vigorously raking everything out with a steel rake this year while it was still soft, it seems like I churned a lot of the seed into the ground, and it kind of took that and the fact that it's been really, really wet this year. But anyway, you see, this berm that separates this area between here and the gate hasn't been finished yet. I still got a lot more to do there. But I have been coming through here and taking like this areas that are all sticks and fire danger and raking it out, and that's coming along down here. I've been deliberately avoiding the areas that are green. So if it's green, I kind of leave it alone with the rake, and if it isn't, then I just rip right into it and use all that material to form the berms before I go and I dig out from the perimeter onto them. One area that's kind of exciting, I think, is down here. I'm looking at continuing the trail down through this. And then here, there's kind of a good alleyway that I've kind of dug out for like a trail. And these poles, as you can see, tend to bend at all kind of weird angles. Well, it's pretty easy to do that on purpose too. So my thought is, you can see some of them really get some real wild bends in them. Anyway, my thought is to take all the trees over this area, back here, road, like so, and bend them over with more of an archway on purpose, so it makes kind of like an arched, kind of covered path made out of live trees. Anyway, I think I'm probably going to end up doing that later on, closer to the fall, when the moisture content's a little higher in the trees, and then lash them together so they kind of stick that way. But I think that'll be kind of a neat addition. This area over here with this big tree is this 3 trees grown as one. Used to be where we had a shower stall going for a bit with the 60-gallon barrel up there in the tree and shower stall at the base, and you run up the tree with the water. Anyway, you'd run up the tree with the water and it'd come down and go over a fire pit where there was a hot water tank to go to the shower stall where you take a shower. Well, then we got neighbors. So that's no longer an option. So I'm also no longer having that many people living on the property at once, so it's no longer an issue. But I think eventually there's going to have to be something up there, maybe a ropes course or something I can rappel off of when I'm bored. Anyway, so yeah, coming through here, you can see pretty much where the areas are green I kind of left alone. And there's the perimeter berm and the fence. And then come down through here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this area, but there's too much sun here, too much evaporation, and I want something more than just those bushes. Maybe some crabapple trees or something need to go in here. Anyway, I'm come into this area, and if I go look straight there, you can see my neighbor's blue house. What I want to do is put a barrier, so there'll be another berm here with some shrubs or something between here and there, so as you're walking down the trail you don't see my neighbor's blue house. And then you down the trail, more berms. These won't be big ones, these are interiors, so just basically something so there's enough soil to grow a shrub or a tree in. And then so back to the circular drive. And then you can see the very end down there, that's where the gate is. on the back sides of the houses. So there'll be a berm that goes all the way down this island, a perimeter berm over there, and then other ones in between. They're smaller. The idea is that you get layers and layers of trees and shrubs between you and the neighbors, the barking dogs, the chainsaws, the gunfire, screaming kids, all of it. Anyway, suburbia has moved in, so adjustments must be made. Anyway, it's still pretty quiet right now. I guess nobody's awake or there's no dogs out, so it was a good time to film. Anyway, the work continues.